Have you ever thought what your dropper would tell you if it would be able to talk? In this video, I will cover 5 things what your dropper would want to tell you. And the first thing is, wash me. First things first, start cleaning with your dropper actually at the down position. So that way, water won't get too much with the dirt already existing on the seat post. So as soon as you clean the bike, wash it, dry it and all that stuff, you should also wash yourself. I will continue from there. So the bike is clean, more or less, myself as well, and we can continue to have a conversation with our dropper. The reason why I say that you should clean it with your dropper down is simply because this is still a bit oily, and if you clean it with some cloth, that way you will make it dirty and you will mess up your bike as well. First things first, we should clean it with some alcohol. It could be anything you have actually. I will use the brake cleaner, and the reason why we are doing that is to eliminate the oil itself from the post and clean the remaining dirt around the area. You should do that as well around the bolt too. Clean it properly, because when you untie this bolt, it will move up, and if you leave some dirt, that dirt would go a bit down under the bolt, so you don't want to do that. 2 topics down, let's see what else we can figure out about our dropper post. In the past, I always tightened this with a wrench, proper one, because it was very hard to untighten it at the first time. As you can see, I definitely didn't do that with a wrench before this video recording. I normally keep this bolt as tight as I could unscrew it with my hand, and that's kind of it. Once you unscrew the bolt, behind it there is a foam, and I can't move it out from there, but I will try to. Yeah, here we have it. This one has still a bit of an oil left from the past, but I'm going to just showcase how to do it properly right from the start. Once you unscrew the bolt and move it up on the post, make sure to clean this foam as well, and do it properly with some alcohol, just to make sure that it's dirt-free and it won't scratch your post. As with everything, you should make it as clean as possible, and that way re-greasing process will be better. So we covered the cleaning, removal of the bolt, and cleaning the whole post and the foam behind it. Let's just add a bit of the final cleaning touches. What you want to do with the foam is to add sticky grease here. Some applies oil from the fork, the one which has clamp. I actually use SRAM's butter. The reason why I use SRAM's butter is because a lot better than just casual oil, and it remains without being washed out by the water or the rain or wet conditions a lot longer. So that's just the reason why I'm using the butter, and actually I'm adding quite a lot of it, maybe even too much, but that's just to make sure that the dropper doesn't stuck. One way or another, the excessive oil will just eliminate itself out. That foam will be properly lubed for your riding. Once you made sure that your foam is properly lubed, just move it up a bit, make sure that it gets into the bolt. I would suggest to clean out the threads, simply because that will guarantee you that the bolt will get into its place. It's very easy to tighten this bolt improperly, so that way it just goes angular way, and you don't want to do that. How I am tightening this bolt. So remember, it shouldn't be over tightened. So what you do is just move your hand up, make sure that it goes straight on the thread, and just push it down, just simply by hand. And you will see that if your thread is not going straight down, it will be angular. So make sure it doesn't happen. That way it will be prevention for over tightening. If you're using SRAM's butter, don't forget to close down the package. Let's just see how it works. So you just move the handle and repeat a few times this way to make sure it's equally greased, and that's kind of it. So that was the third or the fourth thing to do with your dropper. And trust me, it will thank you on the downhills. When using the dropper, especially when it's mechanical one like Fox Transfer SL, it is actually suggested not to do this way. It might be the reason why there are some movement in the dropper itself. In the documentation, it is written that you should make sure that the dropper moves up with your butt holding it a bit. That way it doesn't knock that hard, and actually it's even a bit more comfy when you are doing that, especially if you are a bit too low and you release it at the full extent. Your balls might not thank you for that. So visually speaking, just make sure to hold it a bit then releasing it. So like this instead of this. And last but not least, let's call it a bonus one. Don't put your bike on the dropper. So no go. Something like that would work. Simply because side deformation is not a good way for your dropper. So that's just to make sure your dropper's longevity increases. So here we have it, smoothly working dropper. Repeat this process from time to time when you start to feel that it's getting a bit rough, and actually do it a bit earlier than that happens, and your dropper would thank you if it would be able to talk. So until next.
Vamos a segunda feira enviar isso, tá bom? Ok, sem stress, vá, obrigado, tchau, tchau, tá bem. Ok, you're in luck.
What's news?
Normally the cost for full kit to repair all the transfer is 50 or 60 euros, depending on which parts he needs to change, okay?
Lack of maintenance.
It's lack of maintenance.
Yeah. You ride too much and maintain too little.
The thing is that I made a video about the
This one
dropper, and it was working.
Yeah, it used to be working.
Take a look now. Yeah, don't fuck with it.